Oh, welcome back, welcome back. Today is the last day of the rewire that I was doing with Ash and Adam. I say with them, they were here for a minute portion of the time. You know, I put all the graft, all the effort in. A few little things to finish off. Come back from holiday, I had to get everything done to be livable, because as you can see, they've started moving in. There's boxes everywhere. I don't envy them at all. It's one of the most stressful things in life to move house, and especially to a house that in need of decoration after I've been here. A few things, right. 2-gang switch needs to turn to a 3-gang switch. Adam, when he put this in, grey is downstairs lights and black is the outside lights. We did a 3-core down to here, and just above that light as well, with all the pictures I've taken, is a Wago box, a Vargo box, as other people would say. And so that's got the joint in, that's all labelled up as well. So we need to switch this over. But good thing when Adam did this is when he did it all, he even made me some nice little links. We only need the one link, but how thoughtful is that? I'm gonna get that switched over. We've got a Ring doorbell that I've got. I ended up getting this off Amazon because it was cheaper than getting it anywhere else because of the discounts they have. Because obviously Amazon own Ring, to my knowledge, so you get a good discount with that. I got the transformer to go in the Fuseboard as well, which is there. I have spent 2 hours crewing on the loft. Loft lights done, extractor fan done. Only problem is I can't find my 4-inch hole saw set anywhere, and I'm an hour away from home. So it means a trip all the way back here at some point to drill the soffits. And it's just plastic, it's not asbestos before everyone goes, whoa. Anyway, next is the Ring doorbell, which I showed off earlier, and the transformer. Annoyingly, on my part, if you've watched the previous video on this board, which is in here, I'll show you around. Fuse board's put under there. I did all the bonding as best as I could throughout the property just to hold it in. This is where the old boiler was. This is Situ's. So there's the flue went out there, so they bricked it up. I bought a piece of ply, screwed that in, recessed all the washers and screws so we can hang stuff on in the future if we wanted to. All down to cost with this. We put this board in. I've left 2 spare ways there, and we also have a spare way there. Garage supply is there, but it's not connected to anything, that sort of thing. Normally you wouldn't fit a fuse board and fill it up, and annoyingly I thought, this is my mistake, that the transformers for the Ring doorbell were single module, but they're not, they're double module. Which still leaves us with 1 spare way, technically 2, because that one is just fed outside into a whisker box. But let's get this off, and if you haven't seen the previous video, this is what I did with this, because there was a lot of cables. Some are doubled up, because we did left-hand side of upstairs and right-hand side of upstairs, 2 radio circuits, but I labelled them up behind, linked them together, put them in the same 20 amp and labelled it as like upstairs sockets. So in the future, if they want to put a bigger board in, that's completely up to them. They can separate all the circuits out individually. If I just pull this off, like so. So in the back there, also this is emergency fitting, so as and when that then clicks on. So that's the theory with that. So I've also learnt my lesson from fitting these emergency bulkheads in the past. I've always put them sort of glaring at you, so if the power's to go off, it blinds you, can't see. So I thought for the first time I listened to the comment section, we'll put it up, illuminates the board nicely, you don't get blinded. So what I did, you can just about see it on each individual cable. I wrote a letter coming through. Obviously the red one's pretty self-explanatory, going through, because obviously some are doubled up, and I've still got my sheet. So A was garage. I did number them, but I thought I don't want people getting confused with the numbering to the number on the top of the bars, so I labelled them A, B, C, D, and then the ones that were doubled up so that you can't see, I did a key on the back of the fuse board, which you can see here. So going across, I don't know why I did it from this way to this one, because I suppose that's the way you write. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So doubled up, so you've got G, H, J, K, L, M, N. Obviously that's the alphabet. That's really good of you, Nick. Well done for explaining that. But that's when you take the cables out. So let's say upstairs sockets, where are we? So here, D and E, sockets back bed, sockets front bed, these 2 are together so the cables will overlap, so you'd only see E or D depending which one's in front. And that'll go to the key, but then that'll show you sort of what can correlate in the future. Let's say in 20 years time when someone wants to put a new fuse board on, they can pull it off and go, oh, what's that? And I also did this. So I put a little sticker. Each cable has a letter written on each insulation, referred to key on the inside of board lid. I also did it there. Hopefully someone sees this at some point or turns the lid round and sees it, but that was my idea with it. This is my cat cable that was drilled separately throughout to go into the front. Because I knew I was going on holiday and not coming back for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I wrote a cable flag on it just so no one came across and just snipped it flush, because this is all the slack we have. So yeah, that'll come off in a minute. I'll put the doorbell on. Can't commission the doorbell as such, shall we say. That sounds like a good word to say, because there's still no Wi-Fi in the property. There's a router there, but there's no internet. So I can just put it on, put it in place. There's a QR code, because normally on the back of the Ring stuff, QR code physically on the back of the doorbell, but each box comes with its own QR code on the receipt, in serial to the doorbell, so I'll leave that accessible. Normally, you can take the breakers out. Another thing I did with this is I left horrendous amount of slack on everything. You can see it all been brought down and across. The board's off, so don't worry about it. Down and around, just because the amount of rewires I've done before, and I've snipped it off here, bent it in, it's all looked hunky-dory, the best Fuseboard you've ever seen, in my eyes. Anyway, it was a joke. But I thought, well, if someone wants to change the board over, and it's a completely different layout, this is this side, that's that side, whatever, I've left, I would say, 500, 600 mil of cable on that, bent up and round. But because I've got a 3-phase blank, full module blank, I have to take the DIN rail out to take these two out to slot the new one in. And yes, I'm using this. It's not an impact, it's a combi, and I'm just undoing the breakers. So we've got to cut down the old buzz bar, whatever. And then a lot of people have complained in the past, not saying to me, but I've seen, is we've now got Selv mixed with 240. And obviously that's double insulated currently, but when I strip it back, it's going to be single insulated. So the only way I've found to get around that is, as and when we're putting the cables in the top, we're going to do the 24 volt, is heat shrink it as best as possible and try and wrap it out of the way. But what else are we meant to do other than put a separate enclosure? Let me know your thoughts. Do you do it, do you not? I don't know. People, I get it to a point, because if you were to get one of them cables come out and it would touch the cat cable and everything would become live, but not if you do it properly. Okay, we've got her in. I managed to put some heat shrink and minimise, well, you can see how little cable there is poking out of there. I've left loads on that as well. I thought it was pointless cutting that short if everything else is long, so that's in and done. I'm now going to mount the doorbell on the outside, and we can turn it on, but like you say, I've used one strand of the Cat 6, and we're putting it on 12 volt to start with, because it can work from 8 volt to 24 volt. I think if I go in the middle, I know some are a really bit temperamental, because obviously this is an aftermarket transformer. I think Ring do sell them, their own ones, but I couldn't seem to find it in the short space of time from coming back off holiday to ordering it on Amazon the same day for it to come in yesterday to be fitting it today. So there wasn't much room for error, and to my knowledge, none of my wholesalers locally sell them, so hence Amazon jobby. On, just left the protective film. I did think it actually came with the right angle bracket, you know, the 45-degree one. It would make things a bit easier for down here, but it hasn't. But the fact that I'm coming back, and I'll speak to the customer if she wants it, I pushed, so I was meant to record this, but I've got nowhere to put the camera, is I stripped back that much on all cables. I kept my orange cores that I wanted. I bent the other ones back and pushed them back in the cavity, and then pushed the cat cable back in the cavity as well. So if this ever wants to be redone or multiple cat cables used, everything's still there. And I managed to drill this directly in line with the light as well. So you got that outside light, that outside light, and that outside light, all with their own separate PIRs. So as you walk through, illuminates the door and also round the back. Just filling the iPad out. The worst part about electrics is just to detest it, but it has to be done. R1, R2 link lead. Just have the board off for the time being. Put that on. Put that on. There. Hunky dory. I'll go and show you what I've done outside. Grab the old Mr. Q-Tech. Still going strong. Still loving his little life. They rang me the other day, said, how are you getting on with it? Someone's mowing the lawn. And I said, absolutely great. Genuinely, it's a really good tester. There's just one downside. I don't like the colour. Said to him, do a limited edition one, do it nice matte black and grey and whatever, and just change it up a bit. But I get that that's their colours and everything, and I understand that. But from a, I don't know, materialistic person maybe, I don't think I am, but maybe that's the case. I just think if you made it a little bit cooler, I'd say. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say. I just don't like the colour, but I like the tester itself. This is all I did here with the that CT1 it all behind, all gunked up, all nice and neat. I'm just going to test between live and earth and get the resistance, put that in for R1, R2, and we'll come out and get a ZS. I haven't done an IR on this actually. Back, right, settings. help if I turned it on. I've just disconnected the link lead in there just to allow us to probe it on. 500 volts. Why is that not? Oh, I've not put the earth back in. Jesus. 0.12. Fabulous. Continuity. These are all nulled. So if you can remember from the previous video, I've not rewired the kitchen at all. But what I have done, fabulous. What I did do is there's a big coil of cable, 5 meters. I did a ring because it was a ring. So we did two 2.5s. We've done 5 meters of 1 mil, 5 meters of 10 mil earth, and also 5-ish meters of 6 mil, because this wall at some point is coming out. There'll be a whole new kitchen. So I've written on Wago boxes. You'll be able to see from the last video. If I remember, I'll pin it below. But I'm just double and triple checking. Annoyingly, I've already done all this for when I energized the board and left it. Wrote it on a slip of paper somewhere in a mad rush. If you can remember from that video, it was 9 o'clock when I left here. I put it in the van somewhere. Can't find it, so I'm having to redo everything, which is fabulous. But with the power off, this little beauty on here, up here, we're rocking. So I'm going to keep plodding through this, and I'll run through it sort of at the end. Beautiful. Happy days. Oh God, it's going to do it again. Oh, I can't remember the results either. Haha, I recorded it. I'll just pop it back up. Right, so that's all done and dusted here, but there's one last thing to do, which I don't know how many of you guys do this, but I do. I just completely forgot, to be honest. Is obviously we put the outside lights up, but you've got an existing outside light cable there, which needs to go. And then we've got one up there, and then one round. There's also one round on the neighbour's side, drilled all the way down and through, which I never even saw, but the customers pointed out. So that's the reason we bought the ladders. Take them off, strip this out, take that down. We can lock up, send the invoice and the certificate off together, notify Building Control when we're at home. And that is me done and dusted. I know it's a bit of a, maybe not very fulfilling this video, but I do get a hell of a lot of comments, people saying they never end up seeing the end product between videos or can see what the job looks like at the end, especially if you miss one every now and then. Like the label on the board, how long I took on the board when I did it, I really chuffed with it. If you haven't seen that video, I will link that below. If not, remind me in the comment section. I just went the extra mile. Same thing with the bonding. I didn't get paid anything extra for the bonding. Didn't even put it on the quote or estimate, whatever you want to call it. I just feel it adds that little bit more that the next person's not going to do. I got a few people giving me grief comments, like, why the hell are you plastering? It's not your job, you know. You've not done a very good job. Well, I know it's a bonding coat that's lower level, so it's not flush, so someone can skim over it. But it allows them to move in, not worry about anyone sticking their fingers where they shouldn't do. If young kids come around, like everything is as safe as it can be that I've done. And I just went a little extra mile to do that. What probably cost me 35 quid, new trowel, new bucket, and a bag of bonding. And about maybe 2 hours, but it made my life easier, especially when I was doing the Fuseboard and filling a few of the chasers up that I wanted to make sure I can plug the holes. I went around all the ceilings and where the existing lights were, where they weren't central, I just plugged it up a little bit, especially upstairs when you're in the loft. Upstairs, any air that flows through all the brickwork and the air vents, it pushes all the dust down. So we plug all that up, it does make a difference. I will have to pop back here just to do that extractor grill in the soffit, but it is what it is. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I couldn't do this without you guys watching me, so I appreciate you more than you guys know. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Love you, bye.